Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro. Welcome to the RTO Show. I'm your host, Pete Chow. Today I'm talking rent to own with the Jason Winters, friend of the show, a longtime friend. And, every time that I have Jason on, we're talking about operations. Sometimes I think that we talk on the channel a lot about some different stuff. And the podcast goes a lot of different areas from ownership, retirement, people that are just in the business. They want to get to know us a little bit better. But sometimes I just want to go back to the roots, right? And to me, the roots is, how do you run a rent to own? Because I think now more than ever, and I don't know if there's a time limit that I'm going to stop saying this, or in the past, has it been any different? I don't know. But since the pandemic, it hasn't been the same. Time and time again, the more people that I talked to are going, it was like this. And then, there was roses and rainbows and butterflies. And then right to the pandemic, everything changed, right? And that huge shift of, hey, I'm going to go online. Hey, I might not visit the store as much. Hey, how do I interact with all of my customers? But I don't really interact with my customers. Now it's all virtual. Now AI is in the picture. Now we have a lot of places like Acima and all the, buy here, pay later kind of things that weren't available. And so my thought process is this. When we're talking about new school versus old school, we're in the new school now. There's no turning it back. I mean, right, Jason, you tell me, there's no turning it back.
And they're not going back to the old ways.
They're not.
The customers are just not going to do it. They want Amazon delivery, free shipping to show up within a day or two at the most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anything falling short of that is not good service.
It's not good enough.
Right.
And so to me, the old school versus old school sales mentality is a great idea to just really talk to the operations crew and go, yes, they're used to the way it was, but they're getting out of it. Not only that, because the way I see it too is we are at the end of the baby boomer generation, where they like to shop the way we sell. We like to sell the way they shop. But as these newer generations start coming in, there couldn't have been a greater divide of the way we used to do it to the way we're going to do it. And so we have to transition ourselves not only to be able to say, I can sell to the baby boomer, but I need to be able to sell better to the people who have 10 times more online options than they had even 2 years ago. I mean, it's all over the place now. You can get anything anywhere online.
Yeah, and you got to be just the adjustment to getting into this day and age. It is a big adjustment because back in the day, I could sell anything to anybody, but I can't sell anything to nobody. And I visit stores, and I'll see 3 or 4 or 5 stores and maybe see 6 customers the entire week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and they have the same pressure to get sales. They have the same expectation to get sales. And somehow the sales happen, but it's just a tremendous drop in traffic. But we can't just chalk it up. Like, we have to figure out how are they trying to buy from me, and we have to adjust our systems and we have to adjust our skill set in order to be able to capture those customers, as well as have those skills that we always used to have with the in-person sale, you know what I mean? And the steps, at Rent-A-Center, it's always been like a greet, ask, match, close. You got your sales process. You know, greet the customer.
Sales 101.
Right.
Yeah.
Just, you know, and you can train that. The thing about it is that is a skill that can be taught, and not everybody's great at it. Like there's very few born salesmen, and I don't think a lot of them decide to come and work in a rent-to-own store. I mean, they'd probably be selling Bugattis and, you know, Maseratis and stuff like that, because if they're a born salesman, they're probably going to be selling real estate in Hawaii or wherever they're going to be.
Right,
they're going to be doing something with very high commissions. You know what I mean?
I've always said, because, you know, when you have that natural born salesman, they're usually more drawn to the concept of, I will get paid on my merit. In other words, if I don't pay, you don't pay me. So it's commission based.
Right.
The better I do, the better I get paid, right? So if I can get this guy in here, I can sell him a high ticket item and I can close him as fast as I possibly can, giving the best customer service. And hopefully he'll come back to me whenever that runs out, 10 years, plus another home or another Bugatti, right?
Right.
Then I'm doing my job. But they never think of it as, let me go down to the furniture store, you know, let me sell somebody something that they need. And that's not commission enough for me. That's not high drive sales for me. That's not that high pressure environment when I'm really going to shine. So we get those people that, okay, I got to show you how to do this. Okay. Right. When you come to me, I've got to show you how to get this done. And I think the crazy part of what we're having is the new school versus old school is that you have some people that have been in the industry for years. They've done it a long time. This is how I train Bob. This is how you train. It's how I train. Somebody sat me down. They said, this is how you do. Let me show you, shadow me. I'm going to go to a customer. I'm going to find out what's going on and get their needs, sit down, feel it. Is this the type of fabric you want? Is it the kind of mattress? Is it firm? Is it not? So now we're taking these guys who have traditionally trained this way for years, and we're going, okay, you've got to do all of what you're doing on the phone. Or you have to be that personable online. You have to answer that email like you're sitting in their living room, or you're talking to them on the stool while they're going through their phone. And the truth is, they can't do it. We as an industry have not gotten to the point where we're training the online sales as good as if somebody walks in the door. And the worst part is that we're not 60-40 anymore. We're not 70-30 anymore. I would say that we're almost 85-15. And if we're not, we're 80-20. But the online sales, the online leads, everything that you interact with, including being online on Facebook or social media where you're trying to present yourself as a sales entity where, look at this sofa, or I've got this. Nobody even wants it anymore. Don't sell it to me. Do something stupid and funny, right? I want you to do something stupid and funny like a TikTok video. At the very end, you just give me a phone or some address or something I can click because I really don't want to try to find you. I just want to get to you in one click. And if you can't do that, I'm not really interested. But that's how the sales force is going. And I think we had mentioned this even not that long ago, or somebody said something that, they're getting there too as far as an older generation. They might not have been there 5 years ago, but when they had to transition and learn how to be online, when they had to learn, okay, they might not be on their cell phones as much, but I guarantee you they're on that all-in-one, or they're on a laptop, or they're on a tablet, because even though they're lingering far behind, it is easier to sit at home and conduct your business. Right. I mean, right now, I think there's like 30% of people that are actually working from home full time, these numbers weren't even close to years ago. So this new school and old school idea is that I have to train somebody to do that. I have to train somebody to close online. I have to train somebody to close AI. And the only way you're going to do that is you're going to have to sit over in that room over there, and you're going to have to text me, or you're going to have to send me a picture. And dude, you can't wait 5 minutes. You can't wait 10 minutes. If you don't get back to me as soon as I hit that button, well, I'm just going to text your competitor, and I'm going to text the other competitor, and it's okay. You're not even going to know that I'm cheating on you, bro. I'm just going to text it, and you don't even know I'm cheating on you.
Right. Well, the thing is that we also got to remember too that in this day, like everything isn't. Like, you do have to be fast. Like you have to catch them in the mood. You have to catch them when they're scrolling. But the problem is, most people are scrolling around looking at that stuff while we're closed, right? So, after work, they're home and they're sitting on the couch with the TV playing, but they're still just kind of scrolling through social media, looking around, sitting on that lumpy couch thinking, oh man, I need a new couch. I'd like a new couch. It's not always neat. Like, I think that we're really good at getting the things that people need. I think those are the sales we're trying to exist on right now. The ones that do everything we ask them to do, that call us right back, that jump through all the hoops. They give you their, their blood type and their mother's maiden name and everything that you ask them for and everything that, they think it's weird that you're asking for, but they give it to you and they lay down and die right in the middle of the showroom floor and get it because they don't have a bed or they don't have a washer and dryer. They're sick and going to the laundromat or whatever it is. Those I think we get, but what I don't think we're very good at getting are the wants, the people that want things. Like they get, like I always tell this story. It's Paul, my boss. He was in the market.
Illustrious Paul. We're not going to mention
that's
him.
Right.
Paul. If you're listening, Paul, it's you.
It is. The story is about him. So he was in the market for a car, right? Wanted a new car. It was time to get a new one. So he started looking online and was looking at different dealerships and different models and this and that. And he put out a few inquiries to some dealerships. But the next day he had to get on a plane and we spent a week having a meeting in Atlanta, right? So that night he just happened to be looking at car dealerships. The next day he gets on a plane and he goes to Atlanta. We have our meetings and everything. His phone's blowing up with all the people trying to get back to him for the first couple of days, right? And then it kind of dies down towards the end of the week. He doesn't have time for it. Like he's in meetings, he's conducting his meeting and hanging out with his people and everything else. So then he gets back a week later. He didn't need the car any less, but he did not immediately respond to all the people that were trying to get him because he put in an inquiry online. He has a car. It still gets him where he's going. It's just, high miles, whatever. You know what I mean? It didn't change the fact that he wanted the car. And also, two things are true. He did not respond just the next morning or whenever that person that's at the store got back to him. So I always tell that story to stores because they think, like, people shop around. Like they look around on their phone. They're looking for a TV. They have a TV. You know what I mean? It might be a little older. It's got a couple pixels out. You know what I mean? It's probably a flat screen at this point, but they'd like a bigger TV. They'd like an OLED or they like whatever. They want the one with the game hub in it or whatever.
They want inches, baby.
Right. They want it. They want it. They don't need it. They can still watch TV, right? They have a washer and dryer. It doesn't really make my clothes not stink, but it gets them wet and it gets them dry, right? That's not a need. A bed, it's lumpy. I can't really sleep great, but I get some sleep on it. These things that we sell, they're not, and if you have one, that's a lot different than I don't have one. And I think that we've become really good at getting people that don't have something or moved somewhere and need something. But the wants, I think that what I see a lot is stores think, well, I tried to call them back 2 times and they don't want it anymore. Like if they wanted it, they would call me and they would jump through my hoops and they would give me their blood sample and they would do all the other stuff that I'm going to try to get them to do. But that's just not the case. Like people buy at their own pace now more than ever. You know what I mean?
Convenience.
Right. And that's why your sales calls, people think sales calls are a waste of time. And the reason for that is because a lot of times you don't get any sales from doing sales calls. Right. You just don't. Like it's actually, but what are the chances that you're going to magically call the guy who just cracked the TV at the time that he cracked it and goes, oh my gosh, I don't have a TV. What am I going to do? And then the phone rings and it's you saying, hey, you guys want a TV? The chances of that are 0.
Mr. Right place at right time, right?
Now, if you make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, you might run into a couple of people that direly, are really in need of something, didn't think of you or whatever. That's great. But the whole point of doing sales calls and any kind of volume is to be in the Rolodex of options for when that thing is a need or they're ready to buy it. They have some money or whatever. Like people don't buy on your schedule just because you made some phone calls. So it is very demotivating for people to sit there and make 1 million phone calls and think, well, I didn't sell anything. This is a waste of my time. So I'm just going to start pencil whipping the rest of these because it doesn't matter. But the thing is that when those things happen in the customer's life and they go, oh man, what am I going to do? My TV just cracked and it's time for the NBA finals. What am I going to watch it on? Oh wait, there was that nice guy Pete. What was? Yeah, down at Buddy's, right? I'm gonna give him a call back because he seemed like a nice guy, and I've seen his funny videos online. You know what I mean? You know what?
Yep.
Next time I go to Harbor Freight next door, I think I'll stop in, and then they just come in, and it feels like it's out of nowhere.
Well, I think it's all that's extremely relevant. Everything you're saying is extremely relevant, but I feel like when it comes to our salespeople, we have flopped, right? So before, when we made calls, we would get those answers and we would get sales, right? So we, as generous as we are, like, hey, it worked for us in the past. Let's do it again. So then we send them out. They're not getting the answers. And like you said, they get tired. They get that burnout idea. Well, I think the roles are flipped now. So the customers who were getting those phone calls and placing orders at that particular point in time, because they didn't have the availability to do it whenever they wanted to, they jumped on it. Now, like you said, they have the availability to do it whenever. I'm going to Atlanta, I can just do it when I get back. And it's not going to hurt me because the truth is, wants and needs. And wants are great, but that'll flatline your business. You won't grow, and you might not go down, but the needs will always kind of be there. But you make money on the wants too. Not
and
just.
That's what I think. You can live on needs, but you grow
right.
The wants.
But you grow in the wants. So now that the customers have the availability to go, now it's flipped. Now, as a salesperson, as you call, as you mail, as you door knock, as you put something on the cars in the parking lot, well, now it's different. Now we're all gardeners. Okay, we know that there's going to be a return. It's the waiting game. That's what people have a hard time with, because now as somebody comes in off the street, you hire them. What are they used to? Right here, right now. And the truth is, like you said, it's a need versus a want, because the truth is, on a phone, I can do all my mail. I can contact you through the phone. I can text you. I can check my online whatever I want to. I can order, and I can watch TV. I can pretty much do anything anywhere. Now, my wants are, I want a bigger screen because I'm tired, my neck hurts, and I don't want to be sitting there in the middle of the night with everything turned off watching one screen. It kills my eyes. All right, I'd like something where maybe we can all watch it. The family's going to watch it or whatever. But do I need it right now? I'm still going to watch a show. I'm still going to get the information. But what is my want versus what and I believe that essential has changed to now we're gardeners. Like you said, I got to plant that seed. And now I've got to water it. And I need a little bit of sunshine, and I need to stick it in, one of those rooms where it gets hot and it gets humidity. And you want to know why the greenhouse is so important? Because you've got to feed it. And I think that's what happens. I think, number one, we forgot how to sell. The online part is very important, but it's still a sale. And then the second part is you got to be a gardener now, man. You've got to do everything it takes to nurture that sale from the beginning. The thing is that no gardener in his right mind is going to plant one carrot. I'm going to plant one carrot. I'm going to plant one thing of lettuce. I'm going to have one potato, and I know it's going to be good. But what are you doing in between now and then? You've got to live off of it. So you've got to plant an entire row. So you've got to make an entire set of phone calls. And guess what? Now your potatoes, I got to do a whole bunch of door tags. What else you got? Well, I got some business to business. I got to put them cherries on the vine. And then you've got to go back. You've got to, like you said, you got to have that follow-up call. He was interested at that time. I called him right when he said he wanted it. I had all the offerings when he said he wanted it. I had the car, the model, the inside, the engine. He wanted it. He wanted the damn thing. Okay, which is quite possible, right? And then not everybody leaves like Paul, but not everybody heads out of town like Paul. But what does happen is people get business. Their life is busy. Kids call. I got to go pick up mom. I'm going to the airport. I got a flat tire. Rent's due. I got to figure out how to hustle that money. Okay, I put it on the back burner. But it doesn't mean that it's never going to go. It doesn't mean I don't want the TV. It doesn't mean I don't want the stand. It doesn't mean I don't want the bedroom set. It means in my life of I want it right now, it's not right now. Right. Something came and bumped it out of the way, and now I've got to figure out how to take care of that right now. But it's still on the plate. That's just the peas instead of the steak. So now I'm going to come back to it. When I come back to it, it's got to be, what did you do to get that sale? And it can't be, I just made a phone call, because you and I both know the chances of closing that sale compared to what it used to be is very slim.
Yep.
And the truth is, for whatever reason, there's 100 reasons. Truthfully, I mean, you can call me and say, hey, I have this great deal. You wanted a 55. I got a 55 at this great weekly, monthly rate with this same as cash price. And I think most people in their head go, that sounds great. Can I do better? I'm immediately going to go to somewhere else, or I'm going to check up on it. But in a world of convenience, even if I do that, I might not even reach out to anybody. I might just look it up. This is a great deal, but this is further from my house, and I don't want to like that guy. He's picked me up. I don't really like that guy. And so, it's that gardening mentality that I think is a newfound thing. Not only do you have to be good when you reach them online, when you reach them on the text message, when you reach them is when they reach out, but you got to be good later too. You've got to pick the bugs out. You've got to make sure you weed it. You've got to make sure you fertilize it. And what I don't think is we don't have a whole lot of gardeners out there.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing, and let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too.
Well, I don't know that we're training them to be very good gardeners. You know what I mean? I hope we are. And I try to work to make sure that we are. And I don't know. I just think that it is a lost art, like training itself and just being great at showing and role playing. And everybody feels weird role playing. Like no one really wants to do it, but there's really no better way.
There isn't.
There really isn't.
Listen, if you are watching this, if anybody's watching this, if you guys are watching this and you never had a role play, man, you are missing out because you will be nervous. You're gonna feel like, God, this is the most weirdest thing ever.
It does feel weird.
And you're like, this guy he's gonna be mean to me. He's not gonna want to buy. He's gonna make me say all these things, and at the end, he's not gonna buy it. That's the whole point.
Right.
To learn rejection, to learn to overcome those hurdles, those obstacles. If you think that they're going to say it to you, whoever's not being pressured on the clock to say it to you is going to say it even worse.
Yep.
You're wasting my time. Get to the point. And you have to figure out, is that the person that wants to hear about all the bells and whistles? Do they want to hear about how it reclines and how good it is and or they want, this is the price, how fast can you get it to me, and and we'll take care of it. Or you're talking to somebody else that does want to know, well, I mean, that sounds like a great price, but what do I get for my price? And you've got to tailor it in, man. You've got to fit the issue. I think training is it.
That's really all there is. That's all you really can do. And and they got to be good at so many different things nowadays that we didn't have to worry about back in the day. Like, when you and I started out, like I don't even think you can make a payment online. You know what I mean? You had to physically come into the store, and now they have to do that. And, as the technology has gone up, though, I just think that there's more ways for them to avoid you than there were before.
There is.
So you got to be good at so many different things. Like you got to have the Amazon style, like they see it online, they pick it out, they reserve it. It's at their house and it goes seamlessly. They don't even want to talk to you. They just want to put the order in and that's it. And then have it show up.
It's funny you say that because in my mind, and I'm telling you, this is the God's honest truth. About 6 months ago, I'm on Amazon and I'm looking for some podcast equipment. I'm not going to lie. I'm always looking at this or that or this. And it was a good deal. And I put it in my cart. It lived in my cart. I can't tell you how many times I moved it or I didn't buy it or it lived in there for 6 months.
I do that all the time. I put if it was safe for later and I just keep
keep moving.
I don't take it out though.
And it's like we have to be that.
Yes.
I mean, and the truth is, and I'm not saying that we have done it or we haven't done it. I know that there are a lot. It's crazy because, we talk about Amazon and they have, a few 100 million users for one website. Okay. We are opposite. We have a lot of millions of customers for a whole bunch of websites, right? There, we have all the competitors that are out there, whether it be Rent-A-Center, Aaron's, Buddies, Happy's, whatever it is. So, everybody has their approach, but do they have those items that live in the basket? Like if I came back 3 months later, would it be like, hey, you still want that couch? Hey, do you still want, because it caught me by surprise. And when you were saying that, I was just thinking, God, that thing sat there, but it never,
you wanted it, but you didn't need it.
And every time I hit that button to buy something, they were like, hey,
by the way, yeah, the robot did that.
Yeah.
Right, the robot did. But we have to be good at that. We have to provide, I think you got to talk to the customers the way that they approach you. Like if they approach you online and that kind of transaction, that's probably how they want to be talked to. And you have to have that skill set to be able to text back and forth and be, quick to respond and everything else. Cause they're not going to sit around and wait in these days. Like if that person is made the decision to put their personal information into your system or give it to you, provide it however you guys get approvals. We're lucky at Rent-A-Center. We have some of the best, technology for that there is. And I can only imagine kind of taking a step backwards on that, and what other companies are dealing with. So I feel fortunate for that, but it is a skill set anyway. Like you could still be, have all that technology in the world, but if you can't close the sale and you don't get it and make it show up when it's supposed to show up, or when it shows up, you get terrible service, or, there's still a million things that can go wrong, but you also have to be able to be that in-person person like that, cause customers do still come in. I don't see a lot of customers, but I do see some stores that just one after the other customers walking in, you know what I mean? And those are very lucky locations to just be in a busy plaza or, just right in the right spot. But you just have to have skill sets to be a virtual salesperson and an in-person salesperson. And I think that a great way to try to improve your results is to spend a lot of time making that a priority, that everybody kind of does it in the same way. And someone does have to be sitting there waiting for those web orders to come in, and they're not leads anymore. They're web orders.
I feel like when you have the online, because like you said, they've researched it, they've looked at it. If they're giving you the information, they're sold.
Yeah, it's a done deal. You can only screw it up at that point.
And I think you have to treat it like that.
You really
it's
should.
It's a done deal. Like you came to me, this is it. This is
the one.
A done deal.
They're in their mind and the customer's mind. So many times it falls apart after that when they've already made the buying decision. We're coming along going, all right, well, I just need to fill out this order form and I need to get a couple more pieces of information from you. And they're thinking, I already told you which one I want. And
just close it.
When's it come? Just do it.
Just close the deal.
Just do it. It's done deal. I just need a couple of things to set up for delivery. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we do. We have to protect ourselves and we have to make sure that we're not making a bad decision. And, some different companies have different tools to do that. But that right there, when a customer goes online and they've put in an order, you have to treat it as it's a done deal sale, period.
I think, man, you're so right about that, and I think that's something that I need to go back and tell my guys. Like, if you get that, don't treat it like it's a sale. Treat it like it's a deal. It's a deal. They sent you a deal, and you're just now calling them to close. Whatever it needs to happen. Get the delivery
schedule. Get it done.
Right.
Knock out any.
That should essentially be it. Hey, when are you going to be home?
Right. What time do you want this?
Let us get this done. Let's get a payment on this, and then we'll iron out some of the back end stuff.
And you're going to need to get that stuff, but maybe I think that the customer that comes to you that way expects that. And if you give them anything else, it's going to be like,
well, you got to. The number one thing is getting them off the market. You have to get off the market,
right?
And the idea is, if you don't get them off the market, they're gonna go somewhere else.
Yep.
They're going to go somewhere else. And not only are they going to go somewhere else, the chances of getting them back on the hook, bro, it's done. It's done. Nobody comes back. Now, we used to call it the be back bus.
Oh, yeah.
It's
a one-way trip.
That's a one-way ticket.
Right.
It never comes back because the only time it comes back is to haunt you. You lost it. It didn't make its full rounds. You lost it, and it's gone. And one of the things that I think that we don't do enough, and it's something that I think I need to do more, is so in looking up different topics and some of the things that I do, I said, when's the last time I've been to a damn rent-to-own website? I've been to my own, but what about everybody's website. Dude, you will not know the variations that are out there. And I looked and I was like, there is no one way to do this. Because I saw what you were talking about. It basically says if you go on a rack website and you open, a pop-up will eventually come up and go, hey, you want to know what you can get? Just put your information and we'll tell you.
Right.
There's nothing on there that says, hey, this is your limit. Hey, this is how much you can get. Hey, we've pre-qualified. It just says, hey, put your information. We'll figure it out. And it's like.
And they've got it down to where it's very easy. Like you put in your email address, your phone number, and the last four of your social, and you're approved for a certain amount.
Right.
And you can go shopping at that point. And at that point, it's an order. Like that's a sale. Like if they're
sold.
If it's that easy, then you need to be chasing approvals, in my opinion. Because if you chase approvals, like if you put the $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 virtual, approval dollars into a customer's pocket, it starts burning a hole the instant you do that. And as soon as they get home to that wobbly dinette or that tiny TV that they have, it's getting the job done, but they're thinking about the one that they could have and they're approved for. Yeah, but still, they're not going to be, I got to get it right this instant every time. You know what I mean? But we have to treat it as though it's an Amazon transaction. Now, someone that walks in probably wants you to do the whole razzle dazzle in the store. Yeah. Walk them around, sit on this one, sit on that one. And you have to, greet them with a nice warm greeting and establish some kind of relationship with them. Then ask them like a question that starts off to buying, what brings you in type thing. And then ask a million questions as though they know what the item is in the store as far as the item number and everything.
Right.
And you just have to play a game with them. And listen to them and say, hey, because they're going to give you all of the real reasons that they're in there. They're going to be, I got the other one that I have is too small, or, it doesn't fit in our new apartment, or, you know what I mean? So then you can match what you have in your inventory that fits that exact set of circumstances that they outlined in the questions. Show it to them, show them the features, tell them why that feature benefits them. And then, at the end of the day, you got to ask for the sale and you got to ask them to give you a chance. So if you don't have someone that's well trained in doing that process and just go, well, if they wanted it, they would know what they want. And I would just show them one or two things and that would be it. Like, I just think that natural born salespeople aren't going to walk in. We have to train them in each one of those phases. And we have to explain why it's important that they do it that way. Because every single sale should kind of flow like that. You greet them and, thank them. And then you got to make sure you thank them at the end as well. And I mean, thank them. Don't say have a nice day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's thank you. They just spent their time, their money with you. Like, well, that's the only thing that's going to build that relationship.
It's true. And something that I've also noticed is that we used to have guys back in the day who we would say, that guy is a seller. That guy, that gal, that person, man.
And they're still out there. Like they're still out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now I believe it's more of a team effort. Right now, you've got the front end. Who's going to close the deal? We've got signing and going over it. That depends. Is it online? Is it not online?
That's a lost art right now, too. With the online business,
yeah. And then
you got to be able to figure out how to make sure that customer understands everything in today's
terminology
world.
How does that work?
Well, I mean, because back in the day, we'd sit down, we go through the paper line by line, and you talk about this. Make sure you pay attention to this one right here. This is super important. But are our guys that deliver the product? Because you might never even see this customer.
Exactly.
These days.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Are they
because
doing
now
that?
It's like a team effort because now you have maybe somebody else going over the closing, even though you sold it, or you could be going over the closing and somebody else sold it. And then guess what? We live and die by those Google reviews. If we have guys that are really on top of it and they get their Google reviews like they're supposed to, it's also end user. So they go out to the house and they do everything. And it used to be, I'm just going to call it like it is. Every once in a while we scuff something or whatever. We could probably get away with it. Nowadays, they're going to take a picture of it. They're going to post it. They're going to give you a bad review and they might even still pay it out, but you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that with bad reviews or being skipped over or not looked at. And so the sales, I feel like it went from somebody leading or spearheading it to this is a group activity. This is a basketball, football, soccer activity where we're all part of this.
Well, I think everybody is set up to create sales in a different way too in the store. Like the typical RTO store, you got your drivers or account managers as they, when we used to have a route, a lot of places don't even have routes or call credit at all. They just do deliveries. Right. So those people, they're in the customer's home. They can see what that customer might need in addition to whatever they deliver them. But are they even looking for it? Probably not unless you expect them to. You know what I mean? Like I think that a driver or a good delivery tech should be able to be trained to say, you know what, that they're looking at this TV on a couple of milk crates, man. Like we need to get them a nice TV stand or a fireplace over here. I'm going to come back and bring it to them. How many of them are going to do that? Hopefully the ones in the good stores, they probably are. A collection manager, right? How do they make sales? They know who they return. Like they know who was at a temporary issue, who, they had to give up the laptop, but they know that they paid pretty good and they kept in contact. That's part of our business. That's what we want. Like, you got to freeze the payment and everything else. The collection manager should have all kinds of people that they want to get that list that right back to them.
Yeah.
So if that guy can give you 3 or 4 a week, and then the drivers can maybe each give you 1, or they find, they strike up conversations with 5 up, 5 down, or they go, at the gas station, you know what I mean? Because they got a big billboard on the side of the vehicle they're gassing up. If you could bring me 1 and you guys bring me 3 and the salesperson can bring me like 8 to 10 and I can probably pitch in 5 to 8 myself, that's a healthy week. That's a great week. And everybody has their own little chunk and everybody's counting backwards from the expectation of the manager every week. You should have a meeting and say, how many can you give me this week? Well, I didn't get any last week, so I get an extra one. I'm going to give you 2. Sounds great. So now that guy is going to go out there looking for 2. This guy, who can we redeliver that, put some money in? We can call him up and say, hey man, no hard feelings. Like we want to get you back into this bedroom set.
How many times do we have people looking at a list? Dude, when I was, and God, I hate saying this because I feel like 100 years old. We could do that. We could go. I don't need a return list, or I might need a return list to remind me, but I could cherry pick about 5 off of a 2-month list like that.
Right.
Because it's not, you already know, like you said, there are those people that, they had bad situations.
They had a temporary issue.
And they want it back.
Right.
Or they were always talking about
they did when
they
gave it back.
Right.
But it's up to us to make, because we got to make sure they're not feeling embarrassed when that return happens, that it's just part of the process, that we're going to follow. Even set a reminder. We got our system where you can, that collection person should come back from that pickup and know when to call this customer back to see if they're ready to get it back yet. I mean, that is an untapped resource in almost every store. You know what I mean? And if everybody grows together and everybody sells together, then because you got 5 people looking to make a sale instead of 1. Because then if we have a bad week of sales, Sally's off her game this week. We didn't get anything. We only got 10 or 15, Well, what if Sally has a bad week? Or maybe she's got something going on outside of work that her mind's not in it.
What if she leaves?
What if she quits? Right.
What if she goes and she's no longer here?
Right.
And I think that's, a lot of, I've seen this in companies and I've seen it in some rent-to-own companies where they're like, we don't even have a salesperson anymore. We're all salespeople. We are now associates. You are now a rent-to-own associate of this brand. Whether it be Rack, Buddies, Aaron, whatever.
This is a store we're working at.
You're an associate of this location. And right now, the only thing that you're pushing is this brand. You are this brand. You are a Rent-A-Center brand. You are a Buddy's brand. This is the brand that you are. And I want you to do this. And what is that? Grow, have good revenues, maintain good relationships, and have fun at the end of the day.
Gotta have fun. That's what keeps people working there. That's what keeps customers coming in there. It can't be somewhere you dread to go. Like it's got to be a fun experience.
I just think we've gone past like the lone wolf kind of idea where it's like this guy's going to put the whole store on his back. And I think, one of the things that I saw at FRDA, we were at FRDA not that long ago, and I would love to get him on the show, is Will Jackson was talking about the difference between managers and leaders. Somebody that you have that can do the job all the way around, and you go, hey, let me put them in this position. This guy can do it. He can do everything. He can deliver well. He can get those Google reviews. He can close a sale. He can go over the agreement. He can do all this. And then when they get to that leadership role, they have a problem getting everybody else to do it. And man, I'm going to tell you right now, if there's ever a time that lone wolf wouldn't work, it's now, man. It doesn't work. It's really a team sport. It's almost like whether you're doing it all at once, like a football, basketball kind of thing, or whether you're in like WWE, man, I just got to tap out for a minute. I've got to slap hands and dude, you got to handle it because I'm just not doing a good job. Like you said, maybe Peggy Sue's just having an off week, man. Maybe she's having a baby. Maybe somebody got a tooth pulled, whatever the case is. Or maybe Bob, he's got to go to the doctor. His son failed at, math and he's trying to figure this out at home.
People are people.
And right. And you have these lives that are happening. And how do you overcome that? Well, you know what? Number one, it's a group sport. But I think what you said earlier is probably the foremost, it's the nut in the shell is, are we training that? And then the expectations of the training, because sometimes I feel like even if we do train, right? Let's say that we have it. Let's say we went over some training things. I got some new books. We're doing it right. I got somebody to say they watched all 6 videos and he went through it in 5 whole seconds. Now they're out there in the world. And what do I say? Well, he read it. Yeah. I showed it to him. He knows, she knows. But the question is, what was your expectation after that? Did you ever get them to show you that they really understood, that they knew that position? Because I can tell you right now, I've read books, and sometimes I got to go back, and because the application to life versus what you see on screen or on paper is not the same. I can tell you just to sell. That's easy.
Yeah,
role play that
the video,
sucker,
right?
You watch the video, right? You know how to build a house now, right? You know how to make a sale. You know how to handle everything. No. And what's that expectation? Well, I think we're lacking on the expectation in some places. We need to get better at that.
I agree, and you got to have expectations too, because you can't hit a goal if you don't have one. That's like a cliche, but it's true. Like you got to know what number you need. You got to look at your average returns and your average payouts and your average charge offs, right? And usually you got like a key indicator for 13 weeks. You say, okay, yeah. This is my even right here. I got to hit, I'm going to lose 16, 17 a week guaranteed, like just from normal business.
Clockwork.
So if I want to grow, how many do I need to sell? Well, I need to sell at least 17 just to say it's 0. And I'd like to gain 3, 4 a week. Okay. So then I'm going to need to get you to 21 sales.
Right.
Who's going to get them? Well, Johnny's going to get me 2 because he's out on the road and he's pretty good at talking to customers in the house. The collection manager is going to get me 3 or 4 of these returns back. The sales manager is going to spend the bulk of her time making sure that his or her time on there, checking on the web leads, making sure that they're responding quickly and that we have the right merchandise. And the manager, just to be part of the team, needs to be kicking in sales as well. Because I've even seen where managers don't sell anything all week long and say, Sally, I don't know, man. It's all Sally's fault. Well, I mean, they're just doing what they see. Like, you got to be leading by example to some degree as well. It's better. I would rather have a store fighting over who got what sale than have a store, putting it all on one person and just expecting that one person to carry the whole load.
Well, I mean, back in the day, we used to have these scripts. Nothing wrong with scripts. I'm not saying because you got people that just don't get it. And so they run the scripted. But I think nowadays you can start with a scripted. You start with, this is a baseline. This is how you get through the conversation. These are the goal and steps. But I think the goal eventually should be, I don't want it scripted. This is your goal. This is what you want to get out of it. You have to say these things. Number one, address who you are, where you're from, right? Don't just say, hey, how you doing? You on TV? Right? Okay, so those are things that you really got to get out. In the midst of the conversation, you do want to hit these key points. But the truth is, I don't want you to keep reading that damn script if you've already sold it. Don't oversell it.
Stop talking and start typing.
Right. Stop.
Right.
Just take the payment.
Right.
Just get it in there, do what you got to do, and close the sale. And I think that's the part of it where, we go, oh, well, this person has been doing it a long time. This person knows. Okay, I can guarantee you, and this is something that I actually saw very recently. I was watching something on YouTube because I half my education is YouTube University, and there was a lady on there, and I forgot what she was doing. She was selling futures or whatever it was. She's young. Okay, she was like in her maybe like mid to late 20s. Now, if you understand the arena that she's from, people are usually a younger person would be 10 years older than her in that arena. And I mean, when you talk about confidence, this lady spoke like she was running the damn company. I mean, she was just like straight up. And she said something that caught my ear, and it really made me think. And it's something that I've said before, but it really caught more of my attention when she said it. She said, listen, I have made it my goal, my purpose. What I do, I am just as, if not more experienced than people that are older and have been doing this longer because I do it more than they do it. Get that into perspective. If they're closing 1 a week, I'm closing 5 a week. So it takes them 5 weeks. I've closed 25. Look at that. I've done 6 months worth of work in my 5 weeks. They've done 6 months. How long do you think it's going to take me to catch them? Now, here's the difference. If you're closing 1 a week, you're probably doing pretty good. She goes, it's not that I'm saying that they don't work good, but I have multiple drives. I have multiple areas in where I have to do this. So it might be 1 a week here, but it's 5 a week in my life. And that means that not only am I seeing everything that happens in these operational standpoints 5 times more than they are, that blade that she's honing, that skill set, it's sharp as all get out because she's doing it now. Not one here and maybe one there and maybe. So when you say, Bob's been doing this for 10 years. Bob knows what the hell he's doing. Bob, I can't beat that. There's a point where I want to be that guy, and it doesn't mean that he's better than you. Being in that seat and having tenureship as far as length of term does not mean he's better.
I don't know.
How many deals has he closed and how many deals have you closed? And how often are you closing them? How much are you working on it? This is something that I think, and we were talking about this earlier, but does anybody ever go home and work on that skill? It's only at work. So in 40 hours, somehow I'm supposed to learn, grow, sell,
right.
Open, close, be the best I can. And then you know what? I'm gonna clock out at 40. Now I'm not saying that, everybody should do something off clock for business. But I will always tell somebody, you invest in you will always have a return.
And that the companies, I think they're great at teaching you how to rent and how to collect, but that they very often fall short of how to manage.
Yes.
This guy's a great collector. He's hitting his clothes up and down, opens are crazy, customers are paying, growing the business. So we're not picking up the world either. All right, here's your keys. You're a manager now. You were so good at that. I know you're gonna be good at this. Great. And then the district manager just leaves and that's that, right? It's just what, that happened to me. It happened to me before, it happened to a lot of people that I talk to. They know how to rent or they know how to collect, or maybe they could do pretty well at both. But most of the time, the management part was left up to you. And either you were naturally great at it, just like that natural salesperson, or you have to put the work in and you have to kind of really take some time, read some books, get a mentor that, is already a great boss or a great leader. Yeah. I mean, people are going to follow you based on your title for a while, but they're not going to be, going the extra mile for you for very long if they don't feel like you have the skill set that they need. And what they need from you is not to be the best, most, you're the Superman manager is the worst problem in RTO that I can think of. They're the greatest. Yes. They work their fingers to the bone all day. They care. They're there. They go in but we're paying 5 salaries in this location and we're only getting what Bob can do.
Right.
And that's just not going to work out in the wash. The business is not, because if Bob didn't say to do it, it didn't get done.
Right.
And if he doesn't have time, he can only do so. One person can only do, believe me, if the store could run on one person,
We would be
we'd
running,
be running it on one
person.
person because that's just the way it is.
Right.
But we are in so many cases, the company is paying for 4 or 5 salaries and only getting what one person in that location can do physically themselves.
A lot of the time.
And the training away from that is time well spent. You have to be able to show them how to delegate. Even just the things like, you've read the 1 Minute Manager before.
Oh yeah,
you read those books.
Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 of them now, right?
One of my favorite ones is the monkey one. You read the monkey one, where and I have given that to almost every manager I ever managed. That and A Coaching for Improved Work Performance by Ferdinand Fournier. Great book.
I have not read that one. I have to add that to my list.
Yeah, that one, they actually gave it to us at the Rennes Center home office and we went to a DM training, and I've given it to everybody after that. But that one and the monkey one are the best, because it just, for the people that haven't read the book, it's like when you're the manager that kind of handles everything in the store, you got to picture all those problems that happen as a monkey sitting on the shoulder of the coworker. Like customer asks coworker question, and they get this monkey right here. They want to know how much they have to pay today, and they walk over to the manager and they say, "Hey, manager, Johnny wants to know how much he has to pay today." And that monkey takes one foot off of his shoulder and puts it on that shoulder, and then he's like, "Okay, who's going to take me? Who's going to figure this out?" Manager be like, "I'll talk to Johnny. Don't worry about it." And then the monkey just puts both feet on the manager's shoulder, and the coworker walks away free. Didn't have to think, didn't have to come up with it, didn't have to do anything. And the manager's got this monkey, and then another monkey, and then another monkey, and another monkey, and another monkey, and all these people are just coming over, just putting monkeys on this guy's back. You have to learn, when you're in a management position at store level, you have to answer questions with questions. What do you think?
The number one answer to any question is a question.
Right.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think? He's a week past due, so he should probably pay 2 weeks. Sounds good. I knew you could do this. Go ahead and take care of it.
You also know
that monkey stays on that person's back.
Yes.
They have to handle it.
Yes.
And it's management. That's what it is. And it's so simple, but it's just so, like, everybody feels like no one's going to do it as good as me. No one's going to care as much as me. But yeah, you can only have that cape on so long. Like you could probably have an okay store for a long time running it that way.
Okay.
You're the octopus, right? You're the octopus. You got a bunch of arms. They're just robots. And I'm the head. I'm the brain. So the store's only got one brain and a bunch of arms. You know what I mean? And you can only get so far.
Well, you got a lot of managers out there who are focused on how it's done and not the result of what they're doing. Well, no, you got to do it like this, because this is the way I do it.
Yeah, this is my way.
You can't do it that way because it just gives me the willies. How about this? How about you just empower that person to do what they need to do to get that job done? You come back and you tell them the expectations, and then you come back and you follow up on those expectations and say, you know what? The result, as long as you were in these lines, you didn't kill anybody, you didn't shoot anybody, you didn't do anything illegal, you didn't break any company policies. Great job. It's done.
They should have a number, right? They should have a number. They should have a number they have to achieve. Right? It should be a number of sales, should be a close or an open.
Within this time frame. Yeah.
Teach them everything they need to know how to do that. Answer their questions with questions. But at some point, you got to start saying, okay, what do you think? Because they will go to you. Like, the coworkers will go to you. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want it to be their fault if something goes bad.
Well, right? Something you said earlier about they'll follow you for so long. I've noticed that in titles, especially in titles, right? If two people that don't know each other, one knows that a title is this and the other person knows the title is this. In other words, this is a salesperson and this is a GM. They both associate those titles with 100% knowledge of what that position is, right? So you get a salesperson that walks in, like you said, you know what? That's my boss. That's the GM. He knows everything that a GM has to do, right? And what happens is you get a 100% check mark. But it only goes one way. You can't get 101%, but you can get 99. So they're going through, and as they realize you kind of just aren't checking a couple boxes, you just keep on going down, and then they're going to fit you how they see you. So at first they're going to give you this. I guess he's the boss. I guess I'm going to do it this way and then they start learning their position maybe a little bit, and they're going, this doesn't make any sense, or Well, I guess if I just sit here long enough, they'll call. If I sit here long enough, they'll close a deal. If I sit here long enough, I don't have to worry about making the tag, or they'll figure out the tag for me and I can just put in the numbers. They'll start equating the real knowledge to that position. And so that will fall off. And instead of being the knowledgeable GM, you will start going down as to you're just another guy who gets paid a little bit more money than I do.
Right.
And that's what you don't want.
Well, and people in those environments, like the Superman manager stores, a lot of times the people underneath them don't want to move up. Yeah. Like I want to live like John. John's going to have a heart attack. Like John's here till 8:30, 9:30 p.m. every night. John's coming in at 7 in the morning.
He's here before I get here and he's here after I leave.
Right. I don't want to be that. Yeah. I got a life to live. I got I want my work-life balance. This guy has no work-life balance. Because that's what ends up happening when you take on all the monkeys and you have all the things on your shoulder. I'll take care of the inventory. You're going to screw it up anyway. It's all, but when you start to let go, then you start to get, like, you're paying for 5 salaries, you're getting what 5 people can do. And what five people can do a lot. 4 people, 3 people, whatever staff you're running with, you can get it done as long as everybody's on the same page, everybody's pulling their weight, and everybody's got their contribution. But believe me, if the staff could be one person, they would make it that way. You know what I mean? If it could be 2, they would make it that way. Like, it's not a thing.
It's one of those things where we were here and we need to get there. Old school versus new school. We've definitely got to take a long look at what we have been doing, what direction we want to go in, and make sure that we're taking bites out of that apple so that we can get to from where we are to where we want to be. We want to make sure that we train right. We want to hold the accountability. We have a team. Make sure they work as a team. No Superman managers. I mean, unfortunately, they're out there. And I really wish that we could just go in there and snap your fingers and you can see. I wish you guys can see what I see in you. You're an absolutely amazing worker, but you're going to burn yourself because you're burning on both ends, and it's not going to work.
Well, the good thing is, I try to set up like a manager. Like, you got to set them up. You got to make them understand that they're in control of what they're only in control of themselves and they're people. But they have to have a plan for that, because a lot of them just come in and flop down on the counter and whatever happens. Like, oh, this guy called, so that's the most important thing. And then this happens, so that's the most important thing. They start 50 million things. They don't get any of them done. They work till they're going to drop at the end of the night and nothing got accomplished. And they feel like they're failing.
I used to be
even though they are busting their humps all day long, every day, and they can't figure it out. But at some point, you got to go in and put the light on, and they got to start managing. And that's just not automatic. Like, it takes training and thought and
a lot.
It takes some letting go and letting people fail and make mistakes. And you know what I mean? I've learned I'm not a good multi-unit manager because I know everything. I'm good because I screwed everything up in every way possible and learned things the hard way all the way through. Bang, every mistake you could possibly make. And I just have been through all that. And now I can just hopefully help people avoid the stuff that I actually did. Like, I like to come in and just tell them, look, I used to do that too. I used to be the Superman manager. I used to have all these problems because I have, and I've been in every bad scenario that they could throw at you. That's what, but when I decided, you know what? I'm going to go take another look at that training program that they stuck me in the room when I first started and said, just get these books done and then we'll start showing you how we really do stuff around here. Right. And that's how a lot of people would get trained. They're like, okay, we'll go do all that mumbo jumbo and then we'll come in here and you just sit next to him and he's going to do it and you do what he does. And then I started doing that. So I was do what the guy in the truck did with next to me. And then I found out that's probably not the best thing to do.
Right.
And then I just kept struggling and hitting the wall. And then I said, you know what? Who wrote that training program is probably people that are super successful at the home office right now, right? They probably got promoted and make a lot of money, and I'm doing what John in the truck does. I'm going to take a peek at this and actually try to absorb it because they're giving you the recipe. Like, they're giving you the perfect recipe. This is how people say it, because that's how a process becomes a process. That's how because numbers become numbers because they all grow from people making mistakes and figuring it out.
But just so you know, that's how warning labels also come around. Somebody did something so stupid. You're like, do not inhale this or drink it or try it. But it is. It's a trial by error. I mean, nobody makes a process just to make a process. The processes come because somebody did something wrong.
And how they also did it right, because how they write those programs and how they come up with that training is what stores had the best results. What do? Okay, well, they do it this time. They call it this time, and they make this many, telemarketing calls a day, and they do it at this time of day, and then they react to their web leads this fast, and and then they go, okay, so they figure it out. Like a chocolate chip cookie is delicious. You don't have to invent it every time you want one. Like there's a recipe.
Just follow the process.
Put this amount of sugar, this much chocolate chips, this some butter and some egg yolks. Well, I don't want to put some salt in here. Well, there's no salt, man. But they're gonna taste kind of funky, right? And that's every single one is baking their own recipe in the store. When we already figured it out, well, most of these companies, they're big companies, like they have a recipe that they have figured out over time. One day, someone started a company and they started doing it in their garage and they started renting to some people and they think, well, you know what, there's probably some good people out there that probably just need to make some smaller payments and I can, I think I can work with that. And they find out that, yes, there is a market for that. So they become successful and they get a store. Great. Store gets a little more busy. Okay, now he gets another store. And the minute that he gets another store, they start competing with each other. And this guy starts doing a little better than that guy. And that guy says, well, what are you doing over there? Well, I'm calling it this time and I'm operating at this percentage and it seems to be working for me. Okay, well, I'm going to try it over here. That guy tries it over there. Next thing you know, that's the way.
That's the way.
And then someone comes along and we get another store and another store and another store. And then this guy starts doing better. And they go, hey, man, what are you doing over there? Well, I tried this new thing and I'm just doing this way instead of that way. You know what? And they all try it out and that becomes the way. They've already done all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we think, well, I promoted Johnny and Johnny was a great collector. So he's just going to figure it out. And whatever he does is going to be great. No, man, you got to I don't need you to invent the chocolate chip cookie. I need you to read the back of the bag and do exactly what it says, and you're going to have some delicious cookies.
Well, I was reading something the other day, and it said, and I might be quoting LinkedIn right here, but I saw it, and it said, "You are not a real leader unless you can promote somebody. You can promote a leader who can promote a leader."
Yeah,
and so, I talk about it, promote leader. But have another leader under you to promote a leader under them. And that's how you know you've gotten it right. That's the great recipe of the world. If I can do that, then I've actually hit something on that. But guys, you let us know. Do we have the right recipe? Are we telling you the right thing? Old school versus new school and some of the things that we come across and some of the things that we say, hey, I think this is a great idea. If you guys think that you got a better idea, then absolutely, by all means, hit me up at the show, Pete@thertoshowpodcast.com. You're welcome to go to the website at thertoshowpodcast.com. Get on there, buy some swag, help the show out, look good, as you're doing it.
That's
look
a fancy shirt.
That's a nice shirt, right? Yeah. So you can go on there and buy anything. Also, you can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, now YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. And guys, I'm going to tell you guys, as always, Jason, we appreciate it. Get your collections low to get your sales high. Have a great one.